Before you open that door, your body already knows something is wrong. And once you step inside, there's no going back to who you were before. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens, step by step. It's 104 degrees outside. The trailer has been sealed since sometime in early July. No AC, single wide. Parked in the middle of the Nevada desert outside a town that barely qualifies as a zip code. The call came in because a neighbor finally noticed the mail stacking up. 3 weeks of mail. 3 weeks of 104-degree afternoons baking that aluminum shell like an oven. You already know what's inside before you ever crack the door. You can feel it from 10 feet away. This invisible pressure in the air, something thick and wrong pressing back against your lungs before you've even touched the handle. Your brain is already screaming. Your body is already running the calculation. And the answer it keeps coming back with is, do not open that door. But here's the thing nobody talks about when they imagine this job from the outside. You don't just walk up and throw the door open. There's a protocol. There's a reason. Half of you watching this are probably typing, "Just open the windows first, idiot," right? Wrong. You do that, you vent an uncontained biological hazard into a public airspace. You contain the scene first, always. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what happens once you step inside, step by step, in real time from the inside of that suit. But first, there's something I found on my 3rd year doing this work. Something that explains why certain people can keep doing this job and why certain people absolutely cannot. And it has nothing to do with a strong stomach. I'll tell you what it is at the end, and once you hear it, the whole thing will make a different kind of sense. You suit up outside, always outside, full Tyvek, taped at the wrists, taped at the ankles, double nitrile over the outer gloves, boot covers, full face respirator with combination cartridges, P100 particulate plus organic vapor, because you're not just dealing with smell, you're dealing with actual biological particulate in the air the second that door opens. Hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, putrescine, cadaverine. Those last two are literal chemical compounds your body produces as it breaks itself down. Scientists name them those things on purpose, because that's exactly what they are. You do all of this in full sun, in Nevada, in July. By the time you're suited up, you're already sweating. The suit doesn't breathe. It's not designed to breathe. It's designed to keep things out, which means it also keeps everything in. And what it's keeping in right now is your own body heat radiating back at you from 2 millimeters of white polypropylene. The door is a push-pull type, aluminum frame, sticks a little at the bottom. Standard Nevada trailer construction from probably the late 90s. You grip the handle through 2 layers of glove and you feel absolutely nothing. No texture, no temperature, just this vague sense of resistance. You pull. There is a sound. It is not a loud sound. It's almost gentle, like a seal releasing, like the moment before a pressure valve opens. And then the air hits you. Not a smell, an air, a weather system, a physical event. It rolls over you in a wave that has actual weight to it, warm and dense and sweet in the worst possible way, that cloying, rotting sweetness that your body recognizes at a biological level as contamination, as danger, as get out, get out, get out. Your eyes water instantly. Not from sadness, from chemistry. Your respiratory system is already trying to negotiate with your brain about whether or not you're actually going to breathe this. You breathe. You have to. The respirator does its job. The smell is reduced, not eliminated, never eliminated, but reduced to something you can function inside of. You step through the door. The temperature inside the trailer is higher than outside. Think about that. 104 outside, hotter inside. The windows are single pane and south-facing, and they've been acting as a greenhouse for 22 days. Your visor immediately fogs at the edges. You can feel the heat landing on the top of your head through the hood, like a hand pressing down. The sweat that was already on your body from suiting up has now nowhere to go. It pools. It runs. It gets in your eyes. You cannot wipe your eyes. Your hands are contaminated the second you cross that threshold. You blink hard and refocus. You have a job to do. The living room is actually not the worst part. That's the thing about this work that surprises people. The room where someone spent most of their time. The couch, the TV tray, the ashtray full of old butts. It just looks like a sad room. Empty. Still. The television is one of those old cathode ray tube sets from maybe 2003. There's a fan in the corner that's been off for 3 weeks. Dirty dishes in the sink visible through a pass-through. A calendar on the wall still showing June. Everything is exactly where it was the last moment a living person occupied this space. That stillness is the part that gets you. Not the smell, not the work. The stillness of a life just stopped mid-sentence. The bedroom door is partially closed. This is almost always where it happens. People die where they sleep, or they go to bed because they don't feel well and then they don't get up. You push the door with your forearm, not your hand. Old habit. The hinges are slow. The door swings through maybe 40 degrees and stops against something soft. You already know what that is. You don't look down yet. You look at the room first. You look at the whole picture before you look at any one part of it. There's a window unit AC on the far wall. It is off. There is a water stain on the ceiling above it. There are clothes on a chair. There is a Bible on the nightstand and a prescription bottle next to it, and a glass of water that is fully evaporated. Just a white mineral ring left on the inside of the glass. The floor beside the bed is where most of the primary scene is concentrated. You've seen this configuration before. You know what the cleanup requires. You begin a systematic visual assessment, quadrant by quadrant, because your job isn't just cleaning, it's also documentation. It's also calculating what's salvageable and what goes into the biohazard bags. The mattress is against the far wall. You will have to move it. You know this already. You put it off, not consciously, maybe not even consciously, but you work the floor around it first. You bag material, you work the baseboards, you treat and extract. The heat inside this suit is now somewhere past the point where you can ignore it. Your shirt is soaked through. The Tyvek is soaked through on the inside. When you move your arms, you can hear a faint wet sound from your own sleeves. Your face is running. Your eyes are stinging from salt. You want more than anything to just press your palm flat against your face. You cannot do that. You will not do that. Your hands are not your hands right now. Your hands belong to the work. You grab the edge of the mattress, both hands. You pull it away from the wall in one motion, and the world changes. What had been trapped between that mattress and the wall for 3 weeks in a 104-degree sealed aluminum box releases all at once. Not gradually, all at once. A column of air that is not air, a biological event, a cloud of decomposition byproduct and larvae in various stages and humidity and concentrated organic material that has nowhere to go but directly into your face shield at point-blank range. Your visor is fogged. You are blind for a moment. Your brain receives the chemical signal before your visual cortex can even process what it's seeing through the clearing condensation. And your body that you have trained and disciplined and brought to this exact spot through an act of professional will, your body simply votes no. Hard no. Violent no. You are sick. Inside the respirator, inside the sealed mask pressed against your face. There is nowhere for it to go. This is the moment people ask about when they ask why you'd ever quit. This is the moment. If you're wondering how you handle throwing up inside a sealed mask without taking it off and contaminating your lungs, drop a guess in the comments right now, because the reality is worse than you think. You don't quit, not that day, but you think about it. You think about it very specifically, very concretely, the way you think about a door you could walk through. You finish the work. You always finish the work. That's what people on the outside don't understand about this job. It's not machismo. It's not indifference. It's something else entirely. You finish the work because the alternative is that nobody does. This man lived alone in this trailer. He had nobody coming to check on him for 3 weeks. Tell me, where was his family for those 21 days? Probably waiting for the lawyer to call about the estate. That's the ugly reality nobody puts in the brochures. The last kindness the world can offer him now is that someone shows up and treats the space he died in with professionalism and care. That's the deal. That's the whole deal. And if you accepted that deal the day you took this job, then you finished the work. Decon happens outside, always outside, going out the same way you came in. You strip the outer layer of gloves first, fold them inside out, bag them, then boot covers. Then you break the tape at the wrists and ankles. Then the suit comes off, rolling it downward away from your body so the outside surface never contacts your skin. Then the inner gloves. The respirator comes off last. That's the rule. Last on, last off. You breathe actual air for the first time in however long you were in there. Your lungs do something they don't normally do. They notice it. Clean desert air, relative to what you've been breathing through carbon filters, hits different. Your body exhales everything it's been holding, and you stand there for a second in the sun in your soaked clothes, and you just breathe. The shower at the end of the day is thorough. Products, protocol, temperature. You're not just washing off a workday, you are conducting a decontamination procedure on yourself. Every surface. Careful attention to the face where the respirator seals. Under the fingernails, even though you wore gloves. Twice through the hair. You stand there long enough that the water starts to run cool. And when you get out and stand in front of the mirror in the steam, you look the same. That's the weirdest part. Every time, you look completely the same as you did that morning. Nothing on the outside has changed. And yet something in the wiring is different. Something got recalibrated. Another data point added to the file your brain keeps on mortality and heat, and what 3 weeks in a sealed trailer does to a body, and the things human beings choose to do for work and for money, and sometimes for something harder to name than either of those. Here's what I want to tell you about the guys who last in this work, and the guys who don't. It's not the stomach. It's not toughness. It's not some kind of numbness you develop or a switch you learn to flip. The people who burn out, who walk off jobs, who call in sick and then just never come back. They're the ones who treat this as something they have to survive, something to get through, something to protect themselves from. And I understand that instinct. That instinct is rational. The problem is, it doesn't work. Because you cannot unsee what you've seen. You cannot unsmell what you've smelled. If you spend your energy trying to keep it out, it wins. It always wins. The people who last, they let it in. Not in a broken way, in a deliberate way. They look at the calendar still showing June. They notice the Bible on the nightstand and the prescription bottle and the glass with the mineral ring. They let themselves understand that this was a specific human being who had a specific life that mattered to someone, somewhere, and then ended in a specific way, in a specific room, on a specific afternoon. And now it's their job to honor that by showing up and doing good work. That's it. That's the whole psychology. It sounds simple. It is not simple. It is actually one of the hardest things a person can learn to do. Most people never do it. The ones who do, they last decades in this job. They sleep fine, they eat fine, they go home to their families, and they're present because they spent it all at work. They gave it all to the job. They didn't carry any of it in a locked box where it could metastasize. You go back the next day, and the day after that. Different address, different story, same Nevada heat, or different state, different weather, different configuration of tragedy and circumstance, but the same fundamental thing waiting behind every sealed door. A life that's stopped, a space that needs attending, a job that needs doing. You get your gear from the van, you tape your wrists, you check your cartridges, and somewhere in the back of your mind, the part that learned this lesson the hard way over a mattress in a trailer in the July desert, you make the decision again. Today, I let it in. Today, I do this right. Today, I show up all the way. That's the answer, by the way. The thing I promised you at the beginning. The thing that separates the people who last from the people who don't. It's not what they keep out, it's what they're willing to let in. And once you understand that about this job, you understand something much bigger about what it means to do work that most people look away from. The world needs people who don't look away, who suit up and show up and finish the work, who come back the next day. There are jobs like this one in every city, in every county, in every state of this country. Quiet and unglamorous and absolutely necessary. Performed by people you will never meet, who absorb the hardest moments so that the rest of us don't have to. Next time you drive past a trailer park in the Nevada desert, you'll know. You'll think about it. And you won't fully forget it. Just like the smell. Just like the smell.